thoughts, man. I'm back at you with another one, man. This is about to go. We're gonna talk about Ravens Bengals coming up. Last game. I share my thoughts, man. I definitely think we have to get into rhythm. We have to get in sync. And that's going to be something all season long, man. It's going to be building. You know what I mean? It's going to be building. A new offense was installed, so it's going to get better. I know that. I think one of the guys was what's it called, 7-9 fan in Baltimore, was talking about, he's a GM, he's an ex-GM, and he was talking about Lamar Jackson and his timing, and he has to get better with his timing and his trust within the offense. And I think that's what I was saying last episode. I was saying that Lamar Jackson has to let the ball go. He has to get in rhythm. He has to get in sync. And I do think that receivers have to get open. I definitely think he needs more time with the line, because the line was getting beat bad. And I don't want to hear anybody saying the line did good. The line really was under a lot of stress. And now with we're going with Ronnie Stanley's out, and we got Sam Mustipher's at center, Linderbaum's out. Lamar Jackson, I don't think he's worked with Sam Mustipher, hardly any. He's been working with first team with Linderbaum. So that's going to be an issue already. So what I expect from this game, and I definitely expect both teams to come out firing the best that they can. We're going to talk about the Bengals, but the Ravens, I think that they are going to do a little bit better. And I think that they have a better understanding now on how their offense is going to move forward and what they're looking for. I think, even they had jitters. Even they didn't know exactly how it was going to go, how the game was going to flow, but they seen Zay Flowers. They seen, okay, he can be a contributor. They seen Bateman. Okay, Bateman can take a hit. He can run after the play. Okay, those jitters is out. So I expect them to have a little bit more effort. I expect them to be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more calm, a little bit less penalties, because penalties was crazy. We had over 100, well over 100 yards, maybe 150, 160 yards in penalties, so everything was just out of sync, man. And John has to get that down. And that comes from Todd, Monken settling down, getting the offensive players in sync, calm, and just getting their trust within the offense down. Honestly, I expect Odell to pick up. I expect for us to see a little bit more of Odell within rhythm. I expect Bateman to have a little bit more rhythm. I do think that they're going to focus more on Bateman on Odell this game. I don't think we're going to see Tyler Wallace too much, so I think we're going to go a lot with Bateman, Flowers, and Odell again. I think somebody asked today about Bateman and will he see increased snaps, and Harv's always says something weird, but he then goes, I expect him to play a lot. I expect him to use him a lot. But he did say something like, we have a lot of guys. So it really doesn't make sense on, what does that mean? Because the truth is, yeah, we have a lot of guys, but do you trust those guys? He hasn't seemed to have trusted Tyler Wallace. So you can't sit there and say, we just have a lot of guys and, everybody's going to play, because that's proven not true. In matter of fact, Flowers is proven as an anomaly, because most of the time, Harv doesn't even like to play rookies. So it's going to be interesting. I expect better unity from the line. I know that sounds crazy, given that our pieces are missing, but I do think they're going to be more in sync, because they have a better understanding on, and Tom Monken is going to have a better feel of play calling the Ravens. So we're going to see. They're going against Sam Hubbard. We're going against a very fast defensive front. I do think that their secondary is going to be, we need to target their secondary, which means that Lamar has to throw this rock. He has to trust his receivers, trust his offense, and he has to get this timing down. And I expect Andrews to play, and I expect Andrews to play well. His injury wasn't super bad. They held him out the first game. He's been out for a while, but now he's been practicing now for a few weeks now. So I expect Anderson to be Andrews to be up and rolling. And I expect Likely to be a little bit more involved too. 1 catch, 4 yards, that's unacceptable. Todd has to find a way to, and you know what, honestly, I kind of like Lamar throwing it more to the receivers. I actually kind of like that. Defense, I expect Oweh to continue to be a menace. I can't wait to see him matched up against our ex right tackle. What's the name? His Orlando Brown Jr. I expect that to be a nice little matchup. I expect Ojabo. Ojabo. Okay, you got 2 big sacks. Now it's not an accident. So I think he doesn't have those questions in his head, and I think he's going to play a little bit more with confidence, because he's known, like, okay, I've played and I've proven that I can get there. So I think he's going to start finding a little footing. I expect Roquan and Queen to continue off of where it's at. Let's go Geno Stone, Worley, even what's his name? Stevens. I expect them to be heavily involved since Marcus Williams is out, and I expect Brandon Stevens continue to be used, but I do expect Rock Ya-Sin to play a little bit more. I think they said he was dealing with an injury, so I think he's going to play a little bit more. I think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a tough game because the Bengals, they didn't come to roll over, man. Burrow threw for 84 yards, 86 yards, and they're not going to let that happen again. And he hasn't really practiced. He hasn't been to training camp. So I think that they're going to be a little bit more in sync as well. I look for a lot of Jamar Chase. I look for a ton of Jamar Chase. I look for a ton of Higgins. I think they're going to really put a lot of stress on this secondary. So we have to get to the pass rush. Burrow, they're not going to let him get touched. He's going to let that ball go within 2 seconds. Within 1 to 2 seconds. Hut, 1, 2, throw it. So I'm not going to expect a 3-sack game from anybody, because I don't think they're going to allow Joe Burrow to take those hits. But if we can get a lot of interior pressure, I think what that's going to do is that's going to force Burrow outside of that pocket and put more stress on that knee or that ankle that he injured, or that calf that he injured before. So I think the key to us is Matabuke, Pierce. You have to get some interior pressure, and I think what that's going to do is it's going to make Burrow uncomfortable. We know he's pinpoint accurate, so the best you can do is get him on the move, throwing on a bad leg, on a bum leg, or whatever he's got going on. Mixon always does pretty good against us. We have to be stout against the run. We really do. But I'm really concerned about I think one of their writers, Casey, was on the Vault, and she was talking about senses in the locker room where they are hungry to prove that they don't want to start 0-2. So, my predictions, that's tough. Playing in Cincinnati, we're without Ronnie Stanley, we're without Linderbaum, we're without Marcus Williams. But at the same time, it's not like the Bengals are 100% either, So I expect a close game. I actually expect a shootout. I expect a 28, 34, 32, 31 type of game. I'm going to pick us. I'm going to go with us. I think that we have the capability and the pressure and the stress in the squad to put pressure on Joe Burrow to where he's still not comfortable. He's still feeling the effects of training camp, and he's still feeling the effects on not having a lot of practice. So I expect the Ravens to win in a close one, hopefully a shootout, because the shootout will let us know that, hey, there is some chemistry, there is some rhythm. What I don't want is a very, very low scoring game. Because that's going to mean that our offense is really, really struggling. Because I don't bet a lot of stock on Cincinnati having a super stout defense. I don't think that's going to be their bread and butter this year. So I expect us to have a pretty good scoring game, man. So let me know what your thoughts. Let me know what you think about the offensive front, offensive line, how you think we're going to do. Who do you think is going to be the star of the game? Who do you think is going to be our number one receiver? Who's going to emerge as the go-to guy? Is there somebody that's going to overtake Mark Andrews as the trust factor for Lamar? how is Justice Hill going to run? You know, and that's another thing. Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, Melvin Gordon. I mean, I think that's his name. I think that's his Gordon. I should say Gordon. Running back Gordon. They should be okay. They should be okay. I really do think that Justice Hill is he's gonna shock some heads. He's gonna turn some heads, and he's gonna prove that he can. You know, he's a dual threat. So let me know what you think, man. This is Black Man Thoughts, man. Shalom.